All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out to everybody. YouTube, Bubblehead Live. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good stuff. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. It's, I guess it depends on what side of the trade you were on, right? I guess we're down 85 points today. My goodness. Imagine if every day was like this. We got used to it and it was just like, oh, cool, 85 points is awesome, right? Um, so we have, right? This is where we're at. Let me just take a look. Let me make sure my sound's working okay and all that stuff. So, good, good, good. Hey guys, all right. So this is where we're at, right? So the monthly chart, we have the this last month we had the spinning top off the upper Bollinger Band, right, of the monthly chart, and we have taken that down so far here, right, on the monthly. So it was starting to look hopeful, right? We had a nice bottom shadow on it, and we're talking maybe this will turn into a green hammer. Month isn't over yet, right? We're only halfway through the month, so we have an opportunity, right, to get some follow through to the upside, but we'll see. It's everybody's talking about recession and yield curves and all this stuff. I mean, we haven't even touched the mid Bollinger Band on the monthly, right? I mean, we slammed through it, 2 months ago, right? So 3 months ago or 2.5 months ago, like right here, right? It was everybody then was like, oh, well, this is kind of looking a little suspicious, right? Bearish engulfing month, right? I mean, so. Then we came right back up again. So we'll see. We'll see where this kind of ends up. But weekly chart, a little disheartening, right? We had a green hammer last week, and yesterday we were starting to put in a hammer, and it was actually like a nice green spinning top hammer, and that came down today. Obviously, 85 points is going to do that on any chart. So we'll get into this a little bit more today when we look at where we're going. But we had a down move here today, push through the cloud, and pretty much Maro Bozer bar today, right? Just kind of opened it, kind of flushed, right? Of course, the price action wasn't exactly that easy, but pretty significant move. We were all kind of hoping for this yesterday when we were talking. We were, a little maybe a consolidation day, whatever that is. If you remember what a consolidation, oh yeah, that's one of these days. Oh, this was a big move right here, right? That was a 30-point day. Then we consolidated for 14 points. So I was kind of hoping for like a little 14-point day here, and then kind of work our way up out of the cloud. That did not happen at all, and we still have this downward trend line, right? So that's kind of the key thing that I want to point out today is that we are still downtrending, right? So this was a sharp reversal. We had a good opportunity to start working our way back up, and but we're still under this main trend line, right? This recent trend line down, which is basically from up here. And so we tried to tag that yesterday and came off of it. That was kind of the first warning signal. We had a right. Yeah, so we had a first reversal signal right off of this, right? So that was kind of the thing that we're it's a little bit suspect, right? Sort of like here, just a little bit suspect there, right? So that's kind of what happened, and then we had the move down today. So volatility hasn't gone away at all, right? It was pretty interesting because we were down 7 points this morning, and then it was boom down 40. It was like So anyway, so we'll see how that all kind of comes together. We'll take a look at all this in a little bit. Here's the price action today. On the 5-minute chart, again, these are all the levels that we tweet out to our subscribers. We make sure we have everybody has these before the open because they're valuable, right? They're valuable levels. We can see here, right? Just the first bar itself said, nope, I don't want the weekly pivot or the S1 down, right? So inside bar, outside bar, and then a little bit bear flag, and then back down, bear flag down, bear flag down, bear flag down, and then then finally this is the closest place for reversal, right at the S2, S1 levels, right? And so. So those are pretty key. That was one attempt at a reversal right here, but what it turned out is that it's just basically a 2B reversal here on this kind of shorter term time frame, then to push back down. Right, tried one more time, got rejected by the cloud, and then chopped into the close, pretty nasty. So that's kind of where we're at. Futures are up right now though, so they're up 8 points. Back in the day, a couple weeks ago, 8 points up was a nice, it was pretty stable right into the open, where we could figure we could count on a gap up. Right now we have no idea. We could be down 50, we could be up 100 tomorrow before the open. So yeah, so that is basically. Where we're at. Let's take a look at the daily chart real quick. See what's happening here. I still have this, but anyway, this is what we're at. Anyway, test the bottom of the channel, work our way up, double top here at the top of this channel, test down, 1, 2, 3, 4 pushes to finally break down, right? Then we had our Christmas reversal, back to the channel, right? We got to this pitchfork midpoint, upper midpoint line, back to the median line, up to the top of the channel, and then imagine that, we came down, right? So up to the top of the channel, came back down, right? Also corresponded with the upper midpoint line, down, right? Tested the this kind of support zone, which became support, and then now it is back to resistance. And then it served as resistance yesterday. Thought maybe we could push through it today. Was held by the 50 MA, and then back down. Right, so here we are. We're slightly below the pitchfork median line. We've got the 200-day moving average here, the 50-day moving average here. We're right over here, right in between. So we're right in the middle of things. So that kind of leads us into what we are talking about today. So that's a good, basic recap of the market. So the real question today is, where are we going now? What, right? So yesterday we were talking about, we had some potential, right? So if we go back to the daily chart here, right, we can see we had some potential, right? We broke through the cloud. We had a nice green bar, kind of a belt hold bar, still a little bit of a bottom tail right there, but nice belt hold bar right here. Kind of bullish setup. We needed to kind of hold, right? We needed to hold close to the close, right, to get there. When we got down 40 points, that changes composure for sure, right? So that's just the way it goes, right? So let's take a look at what really happened today. So let's go to the hourly chart and just kind of take a look here. So this is yesterday, right? We had a very rare quadruple inside 60. Okay, and we actually talked about straddles here in the private stream. They were the 2930s were I think like $25. I think they ended up somewhere over $60 today just on those. But anyway, this is the type of things that we look at on a daily basis. But this was very rare, quadruple inside 60, okay? But what happened was yesterday, right, we had that huge break. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about the different levels, that we went through, that Apple went through, right, that kind of led the market, right? And so, but if we go back, we can see right here exactly where this all happened, right? Now, if anybody who has been following for a while, right, we know about the 60 anchors. I love to trade. We actually have another 60 anchor today, right, inside 60 anchor right there. So that's an inside bar at the end of the day on the 60-minute chart, which is aggregation at 9:30 a.m., right? So we had an inside 60 there, nice and compressed one too. So what happened is we got below it, tried, tested down, and then we launched through it, right? It's a very, very powerful technique for trading the open, right? And so we look at those a lot. But anyway, when we launched off of that, what happens is when you have these big moves, right, these levels like to get tested, right? And so yesterday, of course, everybody wanted to come back down. We had a big move, right? It was 66 points on one bar, right? It's hard to kind of push back down 60 points on another bar, right? If anything, it would take multiple bars, but it just didn't want to do it, right? And those inside bars told us that, right? So what happened is they went ahead and did it after hours with the futures, and what price likes to do is it likes to return to the scene, right? It likes to return to the scene of the breakout, right? And the reason it does that is because it didn't get to stay there long, right? And price likes to explore levels and test levels before it moves on, right? And so that is exactly what happened here. So this morning, it wasn't surprising at all to see, right, this lower shadow on this first 60-minute bar, right? Because it came back down. We gapped right down here, right? And of course, it wants to test that level. It's not going to be, I'm just going to hang out over here and just go back up, right? No, it wants to test this really, really bad, right? Just to see if it missed anything, right? See if, something else was going on. And it turns out something else was going on, right? Came down here, it actually tested it for a little bit, came back up, kind of closed on this first 60-minute bar right here. And then it said, okay, I've had enough here. Let me test down here. Now, will this get tested eventually? Yeah, more than likely, right? So this gap right here is definitely going to be, in the works at some point. So the question is when, right? Could it be tomorrow? We're already up 10 points on the futures. It could be. We just have to see. Okay, so this was really key right here, this kind of bottom shadow, right? This kind of gave maybe a little bit of hope that, hey, I'm done testing here, and maybe start working itself up. So let's kind of go and look, right? If we look at that was basically right near the open yesterday. So if we go to the 5-minute chart, right, and just kind of look at the price action here, okay? So we have yesterday's open. That was basically where the back of the scene, right? Back at the scene right here. Okay, so right at this level, and this is how we tested it, right? So we came here, right, and it hung out here for a while. Right, that hourly chart made it look like we just had a straight drop down, and that really isn't the case at all. So what happens, right, is that we just have to wait. We have to wait for signals. We have to wait for signals to get out of this range, and so that's what we wait for, right? So on the 5-minute chart, we test, right? We come back, we test. Look at that, came back again to this level. Not really sure. Nice red bar right here. Now things are starting to happen, right? We're starting to see some price action, right? We're seeing we're seeing a hammer that fails. Right, goes back to an inside bar. We see a weak hammer right here, a red one at a key level, at the S3 level, right? And that's a monthly level, this green one, okay? So it's testing that, right? And, right, right? And then this was the kicker right here. So we had an outside bar right here that pushed through all these levels. Okay, so I've started to code these outside bars as blue because they're just as significant as the inside bars, okay, which are yellow. Okay, so this was your momentum bar right here, pushed through all these levels, and that gave the first big move down. The puts on these, that your target here, your next target is the S2. The puts on these are the 29.50 puts were like $5 at the time. They went to like $10 right here, from here to here. Okay, and then we had a little bit of a this bear flag right here. Okay, another outside bar. The outside bar could say like, hey, I want to get out of this area, right? I want to kind of get back up to here. Nope, failed. Right? You had your bottom shadow failed. Okay. Then it paused a little bit, right? More key levels, right back down. Came down, fake breakout right here, which made sense because we never touched the level. Then back down. Then this is the place where you look for a reversal. You look through it at the key level itself, right? That price wants to test those levels. There's fighting going on in here and all that stuff. Big green bar back up, down, and kind of around. Okay, so that is where we were at. So that's how we look at this. That's how we have to treat price, right? And so, and we have these conversations with ourselves and with the price itself. What are you doing, right? What are we trying to do? This is how we think these things out when these things move, right? Because right, otherwise, we're just following, moving averages and all that stuff. But we want to see what price is really up to, right? And that's when we can get conviction on an entry and look for, then we look at our volume, we look at our option charts, we look at, what makes the most sense, what's affordable, what's our risk reward, and all that stuff, before putting it in, right? But we want to make sure we understand what price is trying to accomplish and where it has a high probability of going, at least testing, right? And so here we are. We just kind of tested in these levels right here. So where does that put us? Okay, it puts us back at the daily chart to see where we're at. Okay, so here we are. Big momentum downside move, right? Push through the cloud. Okay, one would expect continuation to the downside. It's we're up a little bit in the futures, and so what that would mean is, a lot of people might have got short here, right? And so what does the market like to do? It likes to trap people, right? It tries to trap as many people as possible before it really starts to move. So we as traders want to get in it right when it is about to move, right? So so we're part of that wave, right? We don't want to be here. Right? Maybe I'll go short now. No, this is not the place to do it, right? The place to do it was when we had the price action on the intraday time frame that showed us to get short at those key levels. Okay, so where we're at right now, I mean, we still have some support right here. We've got nice bottom shadows right here. So if we're up like another 10 points, right, we're probably up here at these shadows. So we'll see what we get tomorrow, right? I'm sure there's going to be some shenanigans. There's going to be all sorts of tweets and stuff like that tomorrow. We'll see if it's enough, action to get us back in the cloud. A re-entry into the cloud is bullish, right? So when we come back in here, right, you can see it could eventually trigger an entry. It just would have been nice to consolidate here and kind of break out there, but we'll see. We'll see if we can consolidate it here, get some some cloud entry stuff, and then work our way back to the cloud. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's what we got going on right now. So hope you guys found that helpful. Good price action kind of review, kind of talking about the blue bars, what they are, and it's kind of gives us an idea of what's happening. So appreciate everybody tuning in. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can. Try to wrap up by 10:30 so we can get a great night's sleep for another awesome trading day tomorrow, and hopefully get some more good setups like they had today. Julian, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thumbs up. Everything's good. Eric, how's it going? Good evening. Head of the class. David, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Julian, new mouse. Yes, the new mouse came in today. Look at it. Woo, having fun. Look at it. I can click on buttons and don't have to hold down forever and click on this. So yeah, we're really, really happy about this. Yeah, it said that it's this mouse is a good deal, $12 on Amazon. It's like a gaming mouse. We stopped by Walmart earlier and compared prices, and they were like $20. So I thought it was a pretty good deal. And the other good news is that it says it's been tested with 5 million clicks, and I wonder if the last one is because that means I've clicked charts 5 million times. So, and I wouldn't be surprised. So anyway, new mouse is going good. SMDC4S, woo! Hope you're feeling good, man. Experience and thoughts. Where is the bottom? Looks like SPX did the bear flag and trapped the bulls. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, where is it? I mean, right? It's, I see what you're saying here. So we have this, kind of bear flag right here, right? This type of thing. And then, where do we go down? So, if we did get downside, if these futures are just a joke, which they have been recently, I mean, if we do see more downside, right, we do have a closing gap right here. Right, so this is kind of significant, right? So the close here is 27.44. This is a closing gap. right? So something we need to keep an eye on. Okay, so that's open there. Oh, that is just horrible to see. But look, I have a mouse that works, so I can do it again. All right, so we have that. This closing gap got close. So that's kind of the potential area. Obviously, the low of this. So 27.25. We could see a potential move down there over the next couple of days, etc. But like we said, I mean, you just kind of look at this. Yeah, we had some big bars right here. You go to the monthly chart, right? Not even at the mid-Bollinger Band, right? So, and then the when we did our Dow Jones series, this 50 moving average on the monthly has just proven to be like support forever, right? I mean, here, all the way since 2011. Okay, so it held here, and we are nowhere close to that. So if it wanted to bottom, that's a good place, right? If it really wanted to, 20. But I don't know. I just don't feel it. I mean, if the only thing I think that could trigger this is some nasty activity in Hong Kong, and then I don't know, which required like sanctions on China or something like that, which would really be bad for everything, right? It would be bad for, one, it's bad in general, but two, right, it would be hard for a trade deal to go through, like when we're, with some sort of like military conflict and all that stuff. So that I could see that's getting pretty, a lot lower on that. But yeah, anyway, so we'll see. That's kind of what we're looking at. So Sarah, good evening. Good to see you. Great job today. Brad PG, what's happening? Good to see you. Paul, my friend, how are you? Alpesh, what's going on? Good to see you. Harvey, what's happening? Where have you been? Hope you're doing well. Was about to message you, just make sure everything's going good. B, hello. Landon, what's happening? Good to see you. Enjoy Life Apparel. Hello. Netfry, what's going on? Jason, how are you? Shirley, getting started early. EUM, let's take a look. EUM, look at that. See the big blue bar right here? See? You guys are going to start liking these blue bars. They look weird, but they are awesome. Right? Nice continuation through there on the daily. Let's see. Sure. Let's take a look at our volumetric levels. I know we like to look at those. They're great for drawing trend lines. So here we are. Oh, look at this. We haven't looked at this one in a while. Right. Here's the pitchfork that we had back yonder. Right. We've been hanging out below it. A little bit of a double bottom type situation here. And then let's see. We got this. Right. Big trend lines right here. Possible bump trend line right here. Oh, nope. Not quite there. Okay. So see if that serves as a bump and run. If not, watch for resistance here at this pitchfork. It served as resistance here and here. So just be careful with that one. TuneFed, what's happening? Yeah, let's take a look at M and Walmart. So both. So Macy's, guys. This is one we looked at this morning on the live stream. It was a gap down. We looked for a gap and go. It gave us a little bit of a move. It gapped down below like some really, really key levels. Right, so we're looking for a little more momentum below that. You can see I've got price level 1 and 2. That's your gap and go levels. Right, I mean, this thing was below levels since here. And it doesn't even go back. I think it was like 2010 or something like that. So I was looking for a little bit more, but they still defended it. Lots of volume came in today. And some say that Macy's weakness was a representative of like the overall weakness of the market, but the reality is it really had the strongest rally today of most of the stocks. It's kind of funny. It's like, oh, well, Macy's is down. It's really bad. But yeah, unless you bought the dip and you did great. But yeah, so let's take a look at the at Macy's in general. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see here. Oh, I don't want to do that. Here's our pre-market levels. We broke down here, nice little short right there, for the open, especially off of this inside bar right there, then drifted up. And then we have here, let's take a look at daily. Yeah, nice green bar, almost a hammer, right? Nice spinning top right there. So yeah, look and see if we can get constructive and get over these levels, right? So obviously getting over this 1750 level is going to be a big deal for it. Then it can work its way up. But a lot of times, these ones, they gap down for a while, they chop around, and then when nobody's looking again, it starts to move up. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, Walmart, on the other hand, reports tomorrow morning. So we'll see. We'll see what they have in store. Let's take a look. Yeah, I tell you, the days of the earnings run really seem over, don't they? I mean, it's just like we always get like an earning aftermath or something. But anyway, Walmart, amazingly, has gone down, which is like unbelievable. But, you can see here, did it before everything else, right? It had this minor pip right here, started to break down here, measured move, down, right? bear flag down, and then it's just kind of right here. Inside bar to go into to earnings. So we'll see what that gives us kind of going into tomorrow. So trend is still down with Walmart. Okay. So just see what it does. If it gaps up, then it's got, Walmart likes to work on gaps after earnings. So if you're anywhere close to a gap, even if it doesn't make sense, there is a chance that it can fill it. So we'll take a look at that too. So, oh, and Baba's tomorrow, Brad. Sweet. Thank you. That goes on the game plan for tomorrow. 15 orb for sure. So yeah, so we already looked at Macy, but like Walmart, obviously key gap levels right here is kind of a level. It gets over 113. Then obviously if it gets over any of these lows, we could see, some downside movement. Possibly down to the 100 level again. It's always fun. You look back at these trend lines, you're like, oh yeah, that worked out really well. So anyway, also an inside-outside bar or outside-inside bar right there that kind of triggered a reversal. And then double inside day. We tried this. We actually swung this right here, a little bit of a move up. Then just kind of drifted back down after that. So once it fails the breakout of a double inside, watch out below. Look at that. See, nice doji right there, and then see ya, right? But anyway, so let's take a look here. Yeah, so Baba. That goes on the list. Let me pull that up here. SPX had a 60 anchor too today, by the way. All right, let's take a look. That goes here. Here, and then Baba. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at Baba. All right, so we have earnings before the market tomorrow. Nice. So not quite an inside day, but it does have this kind of bump and run type situation it's working on. So a little bit of harami right here. So inside real body. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. If it gaps up, if it gets above this 167 level, we could see a nice move to the upside. If it's down below 152, then we could see a push to the downside. So just kind of keep an eye on those. Shirley, AXU. Nice gap up. Just be careful, Shirley. This was a red day, right? So it wasn't a perfect green bar up. So you kind of have here, here, here. It's too early to really kind of draw a trend line, but just be careful, right? It kind of rejected its levels. It did give a nice move, right? Nice gap and a move, but then it kind of the reversal was kind of rough. Did it run into any other like longer term resistance? Let me just see here. Not too familiar with this guy. Yeah. See. It wasn't a pure gap and go, right? It tried to get over this pivot right here, but it found resistance like kind of in this zone. It couldn't get over. That was key level, and that's the ultimate key level of that 254. So it reversed off of that a little bit. So just be careful there. It could be running into, a little bit of struggle. It might come back down to this upward trend line here. Might fill the gap, test that 183 type level. So just be careful with that. B, Apple. Inside day. Red inside day, actually, but this is kind of interesting, right? Kind of came back to our levels that we were looking at, right? Here's that prior open gap window. Look where it didn't want to retest again. It didn't want to retest there. So once it rejected that level, it was back down, right? So who knows? Might want to test that prior day's high, and then kind of, test the return to the scene of the breakout, right? So very, very possible. That could be lagging SPX, and it's wanting to do that. Cat. Very interesting. Cat. Okay, we had a downward trend line here, right? We had a minor pivot here. We have a retest of the trend line here. So kind of a key level, right? If it bounces off of this, we could see a movement. Eventually, if it gets over this level, this 122 area, we could see another move to the upside. So we have that. And then Diz. Diz had a little bit of news on it today, didn't it? Something about like getting together with Comcast or something. Apparently it wasn't good. Outside day, guys. You're going to start loving these blue bars. And we love the yellow bars, but these blue bars, signal moves, right? Momentum moves, get ready to go. Outside bar, down, right? So that was a really, really strong level right there. So we're here below the downward trend line. Then we'll see if we can break out above that soon. Otherwise, more downside, right? Trend is down until proven otherwise. NetPry today wasted half a day watching charts. Exactly. But the other half of the day, what'd you do the other half of the day? Traded off of it? Nice. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to watch these things. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. Thank you very much for the new mouse. I love it already. I love these gaming mouse too. They like flash like different colors and stuff. I told my son he's got like a much nicer mouse. He's got like one of those laser mouses like for his computer. And like I told him about it. He's like, ooh, can I have it? I was like, I'll trade you. He's like, oh, never mind. Anyway, LABD. Nice one, Shirley. Okay, yeah, trend is definitely still continuing upward. Nice move after yesterday, and it's nice that you're finding green stocks on a red day, right? So let's see, just a little bit of triangle thing going on right here. So just see how it might consolidate a little bit. I love how it's out of the cloud, right? And see if it can continue and get out of this triangle and then continue some upside. Very, very nice. Shirley always knows how to find them. Jason, yeah, Roku, Shop, and Netflix. Yep, absolutely. Roku. Yeah, so Roku, I've got an alert on this one. This is actually going to be on the short radar. So we had this upward trend line, right? And so today it gave us a minor pivot down, right? So, oh man, futures up 14. When they're up 55, then I'll be like, okay, this seems okay. So I'm just going to leave another gap. Anyway, lower pivot right here, below the upward trend line. Okay, if it breaks down there, we can see some downside movement. We have a closing gap right here. Okay, so if we break down below today's low, we could see 125 pretty quickly. But watch out, it's Roku. It doesn't like to flush. It likes to hold and it likes to go back up. So just be careful with that. Okay, but yeah, it is rather bearish. And let's see, Shop. A little bird told me, SFDC for us, that it had some strength today. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's looking like it looks like it had some good moves today. Here's your trend line here. Okay, slight minor pivot yesterday. So basically a breakdown below yesterday's lows. It kind of triggered, a move, right? So we had here, it was yesterday's lows, right? Couldn't hold today. Flush, inside bar, up, and then double inside 60 to close the day. So Shop till it drops. And then Netflix, and Shop does like to do that. Netflix. Down 13. When it's up 13, it's like, wow. When it's down 13, it's like, oh. But anyway, so we had, it's been working out, right? It hasn't put in a new low yet, so this trend line is still good. This was the first minor pivot, right? So this high here was like 313.36. So if it really just hasn't been able to get over that yet. And so that is kind of like it's kind of resistance zone. So see how it is. It came back down, tested the lower trend line. If we gap up a little bit tomorrow, maybe it'll push and try to get back up to that 317 level. So something we could see there. Now, probably any hope in PFE? What's PFRE? Why would my fingers even do that? Like, look, I do it again. PF. I was just like, what are my fingers doing? PFE. Okay. Pfizer. Is there hope? There's always hope, NetFry, especially for a Dow stock. They don't keep there's on the Dow for a reason. Let's see what it's doing. We looked here. This was something that we looked at for a potential long way back yonder. It never gave us the entry, right? This is the minor pivot. You can see I still have an alert on it. But this trend line is now invalid, so we will activate this. We'll bring it to the new low. We'll go to the next pivot, which looks like it's right there. And so it's starting to get close. Okay, so let's see if we can do anything, right? So I'm not saying tomorrow, but tomorrow we might get a minor pivot out of this trend line. In fact, that could use an alert too for us to continue to pay attention to it. So if we get out above this trend line, we might get another minor pivot and then start to work its way up. My goodness, it has to do it eventually, right? So RUHN? So there is hope. NetFry, there is hope. It just needs to prove that there's hope. Whoa! Big one, Shirley. Nice. Yeah. From like $3 to $4. Looks like an option chart. Very, very nice. Yeah. Bullish until proven otherwise. Very nice. Brad PG. Thanks for those videos you shared. Oh, my pleasure, Brad. Yeah, definitely. And you can see we've got tons, right? So if you go to the channel here and go to videos or go to playlists, you can see really different cool stuff that we do, right? And anytime I profile a stock, like if you go to the individual names, like chances are it's like there's a 60 anchor going on or there's a 15 orb, because we look at that stuff all the time. Casey Russ. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Shirley, sorry, Casey Shirley. Russ has been jumping for sure. Let's see. So here. I don't know. Pretty shady stuff today. Like they're talking about, driving, flying some nuclear airplanes or something like that today. So I don't know. Watch out for Russia, man. Getting a little weird. Let's see. SYRS. This is show of force. And let's see. Wow, that is what I call an outside bar. Goodness gracious, big. Trend is up until proven otherwise. Very, very nice. You find the best one, Shirley, I tell you. XBit. That's a cool name. That's a cool ticker. It just feels like, smells like a boiler room stock, doesn't it? Oh, it's going to go up. Yeah, a little bit of a kind of bump and run right here. Watch out for the cloud, a little bit of resistance here. So, just something to kind of keep an eye on. Harvey. Oh, man. That stinks, bud. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. Always good to have you back, man. Yep. Jason, CNBC, market in turmoil tonight. Stocks. Oh, we did? We had a market turmoil? Yeah, we're good then. Up 14. So that's it's actually the plunge protection team that does that, right? So Lisa M, hey, welcome. Yeah, take a look at IP. Sure, my pleasure. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe. We do this every market night. So, do chart requests. We go over kind of technical ideas, like new ideas on the market, stuff like that. Great community. I love this group. Everybody's awesome. Went ex-dividend today, international paper. Let's see. So kind of, I need to go to the bar chart on this one. Lots of thick candles. It makes it a little bit more challenging to draw the trend lines. Okay, so let's see. Go here. Okay, a little bit better. Can't draw here. I mean, here's your macro line. I'm going to remove this right now. There. Okay, there's your macro. There. Okay, so minor. Kind of here. Okay. Okay. So basically, you got two minor pivots right here. One from today and one from yesterday. Okay, so we just have to watch. If it gets over today's highs and then that triggers yesterday's highs, then we can work our way up. It's kind of like an inverted bump and run right here. Right, it can work its way up here. We've got this trend line here. If it get over this trend line, we get a minor pivot there. Then it can start working its way up. Right, so just have to be careful, right, because the trend obviously is still down. The 50-day moving average is below the 200-day moving average. General bearish, stuff. It did go ex-dividend today. Sometimes that gives a little bounce, possible an opportunity to buy the dip, and we'll just kind of see where it goes from there. Earnings. Actually had good earnings, so it's a pretty big pullback on its earnings. It's kind of frustrating, isn't it? Like buys and is investing and all that stuff. It's like, but earnings were good. Why is it going down, right? And it's just annoying, right? But it does have a kind of a support zone right here, right? It has the last kind of pivot here. So, even if it goes down for another day or two, it might find a little bit of support here at this kind of 37.50 level, and then it might start to work through these trend lines. So just kind of keep an eye on that. So good stuff, James. Awesome. Yeah, welcome. Oh yeah, Tesla, of course. There's always room for Tesla. And I somehow went offline here. Hopefully it comes back on. It says I'm still streaming. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened there. Just a little blip. Yeah, James, hey, welcome. Yeah, so yeah, always room for Tesla. Let's take a look. So Tesla, down 15. Man, give us a break, right? But let's see. So yeah, it could not hold. It looked like it was holding its 50-day moving average. Nice little smiley face here on the 50 moving average. Couldn't hold it. So here we are. We're actually, it's not as bad as it looks, unless you're along from the open. But you've got a little bit of support here. Right, nothing there yet, but we did find a little bit of support here. So let's see if we can hold that. So unfortunately, right now the trend is now, of course, down. So we have to wait and see. It gives us some sort of like maybe short-term price action or something like that. Tesla, it can be known to buy the dip. Teslas are cool, so we'll see. See what it gives us. But yeah, very, very interesting. Nephron, my pleasure. Lisa, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Eric, do I trade stocks or options? Only options. So I quit trading stocks, I don't know, a year ago or so. I mean, and the only time I really traded stocks then was for IPOs because there's no options. And I was like, I don't even need to trade IPOs. They all go down anyway, and you can't short them. So suggestions for a small account. Oh, my pleasure, B. So suggestions for a small account. So let's say, it depends how small, right? But it's tough. And we've tried like a $500 challenge on it before. I mean, it's tough to do with $500 unless you're a PR, right? So and like a master at like Fibonacci's and just and patience, and he was like super consistent before he even started with that. He would do a $5,000 account each month. He'd pretty much double it, and then kind of go from there. And so we did a $500 challenge, and I think he's up to like 12 grand on it, right? So the smaller you are, the more precise you have to be, right? You don't have any room for error, right? So if you have a $500 account, right, they all have to work until you can get the account up to like $2,000. So, for me, I always recommend at least, or I would always, if it were me, I would always at least have like a, $2,000 account or a $5,000 account, right? And, and then you go cash, you have a cash account, so you don't have to worry about pattern day trading or anything like that. So no Robinhood, or if you use like Thinkorswim, and you make sure you have a cash account, and this way you can trade every day, right? But only with what your open balance is, right? So if you have a $5,000, say you have a $2,000 account, and you make 20 trades for $100 each day, right? And you were flat on all of them, you could come back tomorrow and trade again, right? With $2,000, right? Minus commission or whatever the case is, right? So from there, with options, it's ideal, right? Because as long as you find one that, is suitable, right, to your strategy or whatever strategy you're using, right? And so going for home runs on options is what everybody wants to do, right? Everybody on Twitter, it's like, oh, 10x trade, and 10, the key is to focus your plan on something that's reasonable, right? And something that makes sense. Like the other day, we had a great conversation in the live stream at the Open, with one of our subscribers who only trades Bank of America, right? Because the options themselves are relatively inexpensive. And that's what I would recommend doing, is mastering something like SPY or mastering something like Bank of America, and really starting to understand the price action of each one of these, right? Because when you go to the option charts of these, right, the spreads on them aren't like your whole account. I mean, like Amazon spreads are like 2 points, right? I mean, that's like, that could be a whole account, right? If you buy 10 of them, right? So here you can see the spreads on Bank of America are like 1 cent, 2 cents, right? 2 cents right here, 4 cents right there. Watch out, right? So, but when you do this price action on these, right? You look for setups. If you're day trading and you have a cash account and you can go, you can trade each day. If you have margin account, you can only make 3 trades a week, right? That's why I always would, suggest, having cash. And so here, you can do, whatever you want. I mean, like, the first move up here, just using this is a 3-minute chart, but, first move up is kind of here, right? You draw your trend line. They have a minor pivot right here. You draw your box, right? You break down below that box. You get some price action here. Look at this. You had an inside bar right here at this minor pivot level, right? So you look to short right here. So you go, you don't go crazy. So let's say what were the options here? So we go here, let's say puts. Where were we at? We're at this price range right here. So somewhere between 26.8 and 26, right? So let's look at the 26.5s. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the option chart on this. Okay, and I'll show you a comparable. Okay, and you need the charting software to be able to do this. You can't just guess at this stuff, right? So here you can see, right, look at that, triple inside 3 all the way up and all this. Anyway, so here's your upward trend line, right? Here's your minor pivot. You trade the pivot breakdown, right? Just from like our trend line lessons that we do. Okay, you look for puts right here on a breakdown of this inside bar, right? So you're right here, 2681. So this what time frame is this? 1048. Let's look at the puts now. Okay, the 26.5 puts at 1048. Okay. And then you just have to learn, you have to look at this and gauge how much you want to size, right? So each one of these is going to cost you $40, right? So if you have a $2,000 account, right, you want to make, you don't want to risk, the whole amount, right? Obviously, right? You want to still preserve your money and develop good habits. All right. So at 1048, where were we? We were here on this bar. Okay. So this is your entry level right here, 24 cents. Okay, and if you really want to be, conservative, just go a little bit below that bottom of that bar at 21 cents. Okay, so you risk, 4 cents on it, right? So if you had 10 of these, you're risking $240. Total risk is $240. Your stop is at say like 21, 20 cents or something like that, right? So you're risking $40 total, right? And then, it starts to work its way up. You trail bar by bar by bar by bar by bar by bar. So you get up to 37 cents, right, from 24. So you just made, right, $130, right, minus commission, right, on a risk of, $40. That's a good deal, right? That's a 1 to, what is that? The 1 to 3, close to 1 to 4 risk reward, right? And so that's what you want to look for, right? These type of, especially like something like Bank of America that you can manage, and then start small. You're never going to make $1 million overnight, and if you do, awesome, good for you, right? But it's very rare, right? That's why I always say, remember your risk first, stay safe. So risk first, right? You have to know how much you're risking and why, right? What's the setup and why, right? And then, so once you know that, you can determine that, how much you could possibly lose and how it's going to affect your account, how it's going to affect your emotions, how it's going to affect everything, right? Then you can put your trade on and see if it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, don't take the trade, right? But here, obviously it's always easy to look at it after the fact, right? But just, you need to be able to look and see, what you're doing, right? And then have a system and only trade that system, right? For at least a little bit, so you can evaluate your effectiveness in trading that system, right? And see what how good you are at it, right? Because if you can't, if you're trading 20% consistency, you got to look for something else unless you are hitting home runs, that 20% of the time. But if not, go for small wins, start small, and then gradually increase size, right? And don't go for the, because look at that, that's actually a big move on Bank of America for anybody that trades it, right? And so if you look at that, a 13, or was it a 17-cent move on Bank of America is rare. So look for 10-cent moves or 7-cent moves, and look to make like $70. Risk $30 to make 70. Risk $40 to make 80. 1 to 2 risk reward is good. And if you can do that consistently, then you can gradually increase the amount of contracts that you trade, right? And then kind of go with that. So anyway, that's the idea of how to do it. So you start with inexpensive options, but on stocks that make sense, like Bank of America. You could also do it with SPY, right? SPY is another one too, right? I trade SPX, and you'll see me trade SPX in the room. Don't follow along, just use it for educational purposes, right? But but you have to get used to trading something, some sort of instrument, right? And so eventually you get to that point, where SPX is like, oh yeah, this is great. But SPX is crazy, right? You put too much on it, you know what you're doing. You blow out an account on one trade, So, just, things like that, right? So you look for these type of setups, today, like we, here, like with SPY, right? There's, a couple different areas you could have tried, like here, we have this kind of, upward trend line here. This is the 3-minute chart, so it's a little bit different, but you had kind of a minor pivot here. So once you start to break down, you can try to enter somewhere in here, like on a breakdown in here, or look for an entry that makes sense and kind of see where you're at. And then SPY trades very similar, right? Than as Bank of America. It's more expensive, right? Bank of America, 20, 40 cents right at the money, right? So that's nice, But SPY, you're up in a $200 stock, right? So you're going to be trading, $2, $3, maybe more. Here not too bad, but depending on what it was, but your spreads get a little bit higher sometimes 20 cents. So you gotta account for all that. So you want something with nice thin spreads, something where so Bank of America is a good one to start with, for sure. And so get used to it. Get used to try to get used to like what it does. Then you start getting intimate with it. You start learning how it reports, how its news goes, and all that stuff, and you really become an expert at it. And then you can grow your account that way, right? So anyway, Jason, my pleasure. Brad, what time for you to use for day trading, 3 or 5? So I use the 3, 5, 15, and 60. So early in the day, towards the open, we look, between 9:30 and 10. Sometimes 10:30, we look at the 3s. And then I focus on the 5s primarily throughout the day for price action on the SPX. And then I'll look at the 15 for a reference. You just kind of see what the what the other time frames are doing. Because if I'm like buying into a hammer on the 15, which looks like maybe a shooting star on the 5, now everything starts at the lower time frames, right? Here's your bar charts here. Let me go to right. So you can see I focus a lot on the 5-minute time frame. Right, but sometimes like yesterday was a good one. There was like a shooting star somewhere. It was like it was a couple days ago. Here, this was 2 days ago. Right there, right, shooting star at 12:30 on the 12th. And so you go to the 15-minute chart here on the 12th, right? And it was different, right? It was an outside bar at 12:30, So it was a combination of it. It's like this outside bar ended up being very powerful. It ended up, indicating the further trend down. That was your signal bar to keep moving, right? So when you combine the different tools, that 5-minute chart told me, hey, this is actually resistance. This actually, if you look at it here on the 15, we're moving up, and I have an outside bar right here. That's a go bar, right? But you go to the 5-minute chart and you can see that it was a shooting star, which is bearish, right? So you combine these together, and then I'll go to this. I looked at the 30. We look at 30 orbs too. We look at 15 orbs. We talk about those all the time. And then the hourly chart. I like the hourly chart too for intraday stuff, because you can get some good trades off of it. Like JD yesterday, it gave some crazy price action at the open. So you look here in the first couple minutes. JD yesterday was our 15 orb list yesterday. You have your first 3 minutes, and yesterday, I think this was today's actually. No, that's good. Yeah, so the first 3 minutes, right, we had a reversal bar, right? So, it kind of gave some, it couldn't get below, some key levels, and then it gave a nice strong bar through the VWAP, right? Through a key level, and then there you go. That gives you a nice move up here. But then you go to the later, you go to the 60-minute chart, and it gives you like kind of easier entries, right? So we had this, it ended up being, hey, this is actually really bullish, big bar here. Then we had a continuation hammer out of our, our morning levels. And just that trade alone off of that 60-minute bar was like, a good, 30, 40, maybe even 50 cents just in the next hour, right? So kind of trading that. But you got to look at it. It's over the VWAP, it's a kind of a gapping stock and all stuff like that. So combining the different levels intraday to kind of see what's happening can really help, right? Even back like, one more time, like real quick, like Roku, back last earnings, like we crushed this one. I think the market was going down, and you go here. I think it's one of the videos I saw earlier. Wow, I don't have a lot of days up on here. So you go here, 90 days, here. Okay, where were we? We were here. Okay, so the market was going down. This was July 2nd. Right, the market was, I think, pretty rough that day, and I think it was downgraded. Yeah, the market was down, and Roku was downgraded, and it was really like a perfect entry here, right? And then it was kind of scary on the shorter time frames, but when you refer back to your 60-minute time frame, it's like, wait a second, that's a hammer above the 15 orb level. It was a 15 orb level right here, right? Big hammer above that, and so we went long. For a breakout through the 15, it came back and tagged it and went long through that, and it ended up being like the best trade of the day, right? When the market was pretty weak. If you go back to July 2nd, I think it was generally pretty weak that day. Yeah, it was pre-4th of July. I remember it being a weekday, but let me just double check. Yeah, here. Yeah, see, it was kind of like generally pretty weak. The rest of the market was going down, and Roku was going up. And it was all because of that, right, that 60-minute bar. So you have to juggle between them. It helps to have multiple monitors so you can kind of see what's happening. It helps to have the daily up and the weekly up, just so you can kind of see those key levels that we've been pointing out, right? Like, these inside day levels, the open gaps. And even if you can't look at it, that's why we have levels on our chart itself. So we can kind of, you can add levels to it. Like here, I had like an old weekly gap fill line right here. That's a significant level, right? So these, without looking at the daily chart, I know we're getting close to a gap fill, right? Like stuff like that. So it can help, look at a smaller time frame and use that stuff. So, whew. So hopefully you found that helpful. Do I ever do one-on-one teaching? I mean, you can message me anytime you want to, and it's hard to do. I haven't like set up any sort of like official coaching program yet. It's something I've thought about doing, but I usually, if you're in the group, like just message me anytime, and we can chat and stuff like that. And sometimes I do like we just chat, like do a Zoom or something like that, and kind of go over some stuff. So, it just all depends. So eventually I'll do like some coaching and the thing, but we'll get there. And then Brad, do I swing or day trade? I do both. I prefer day trading because, especially in this type of environment, because you don't know because just the stress, right? I mean, right now we're up 14, and you could go to bed thinking like, all right, yeah, my calls are going to be up tomorrow, and then you wake up and you're down 50 points, and you're like, oh no, I'm done, right? So we swing when it makes sense to swing, right? Or if it fits with like a strategy that we use. But anyway. Yeah, but I prefer day trading because we can find like nice setups like this, bar by bar by bar, just different cool price action stuff. So anyway, good questions tonight. Awesome stuff. That's it. That's pretty much all I have for the evening. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for chart requests. Thank you for your support. Anybody who's new here, please click subscribe on the YouTube channel because we do this every market night, and we have a lot of fun doing it. Also check out the links in the description. There's always good stuff in there if it's relevant to a topic. Got our Twitter feed on there and positivetrends.com and all that good stuff. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. Yes, I know. She posted it right in the beginning. Exactly, right. So good stuff. But appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you guys soon.